Hi everyone, Sarah here. I had to share this because if you're anything like me and you are a loving parent, you love your child and you fall into doing certain things for them because you love them. And honestly, this is why most people come to me to work personally and privately is because there is something internally that they can't quite figure out through all the things that they've done themselves to try and figure it out. And what it is, it's the spiritual deception. It's the lies that they've believed internally and subconsciously. And I had an experience of that this morning with my daughter that just revealed so many things. Quite honestly, the thing it revealed was our need that we all need to know the truth. We all desire to know the truth. Our spirit was created to know the truth, to have a relationship with the truth, because it is true that the truth sets us free. And the story of this is one of so many that lead to the frustration, the hesitation, the wonderments of what is truth, what isn't truth. And it was something so innocent, something we've all experienced. It is December 14th. My daughter has woken up each and every day with countdown to Christmas. And she is almost 7, so she understands Christmas. She understands it's about Jesus. We've gone to church almost all of her life, and she understands the truth as much as she can. She's been very open and honest and saying, "Mommy, it's a little bit confusing. I don't quite understand." And I said, "Honey, there are some things that I don't understand when it comes to His plan. There are some things that we will never understand on this side of eternity." And yesterday she told me, "Mommy, did you know the Bible stands for basic instruction before leaving Earth?" And I thought, I'm 38. I've never heard that. How are you 6 years old and you know that, or at least have heard that? And know that truth. And I love hearing her express truth. And so many of us feel like we're living lives of discontent, dis-ease, trauma, because we believe particular in certain things. And that is my area of expertise, is working with people to get to what's happening internally, subconsciously, really getting through the lies that they believed that have shaped, transformed, and created their identity. We were created to have an identity in Christ, to have a relationship with Christ. And this experience this morning was one of the importance and the need for that. And it was completely innocent. My husband bought her the Elf on the Shelf. He'd never heard of it, doesn't have kids. We've got one on the way. But with all that to say, he had a friend whose house that he was at who said, "Oh, what are you guys doing for your Elf on the Shelf?" And my husband thought, "What do you mean? What is that?" And he said, "Are you kidding me? Your wife hasn't done that?" And I just haven't done it because it's not something that I've ever really wanted to participate in. And as we talked about it, I said, well, as a single mom for so long, it felt like one more thing that I was responsible for, that I had to take on. Now, in the context of a marriage, there's more space, there's more room to breathe, there's less things, right, that you feel like you have to carry on your own. Well, God never created us to feel like we have to carry anything on our own. And He's always been there for us to speak the truth to us. So he wanted to get Elf on the Shelf because his friend did it for his kids and they said they love it. You have to do it. And we've always told my daughter the truth, that Christmas is about Jesus. Christmas is about the real story, the real reason why we celebrate. It's not about the tree. It's not about the lights. It's not about Santa. It's not like all of that is a worldly story, and it's fun and it's cute and it's nice to see lights. But the truth is, it's about the birth of Jesus. And it's about God so loving us so much, so infinitely, so deeply, that He came into this world, was born in a manger, came into a mess, right? When we read the story of the Bible, we learn about all of this so that He could walk with us, teach us, live among us, so that we could put our faith, hope, and trust in Him and believe in Him. And the Bible's this love story about His life and His love for us. And Christmas is about the birth of Jesus, who is God, who is the Holy Spirit. It's three in one, it's one in three. Um, that is the truth of it. All this other stuff, yes, it's fun, but it's also not the truth. And my goal as her mother is to have her know the truth, to have seeds of truth planted within her and just trust and know that God is going to take it from there, right? Because she's going to be in the world experiencing things and trying to decipher and filter things. And things are filtered through our spirit. And with this thing, there's the thing, she didn't want to hear it. So he bought her the Elf on the Shelf, and I thought this is cute and this is fun. But she's already known Santa isn't real. She's already been the one to spill the beans with the other kids at school. And yes, she goes to a Christian school. So it's like, what are you parents teaching your kids? Whatever, like to each their own. But I'm teaching my daughter the truth of who Jesus is and how much he loves her, and that we live our lives for him. Um, so we're doing this Elf on the Shelf thing, and it's kind of fun, but and she's so excited. She had just watched the Elf on the Shelf movie or show, whatever it was, and gets excited about it because then suddenly in her room there's the Elf on the Shelf that shows up in a box, and she takes the elf out. Oh my gosh, how did this get here? And we're like, I don't know, how did that get here? Right? Totally playing in the whole like worldly story of like, I don't know. And she's excited and she's taking the elf out, she names it, and she's speaking to it and telling her what she wants for Christmas, just like we do with Santa. Even though everywhere we've gone and Santa's there, she's like, that's not the real Santa. I'm like, that's right, because Santa's not real. And she said, what do you think, Mom? And I said, I think it's a really cool story. I think it's kind of fun to play along with. But is it true that there's a man in a suit that flies around and gives presents to the good kids, right? Here's the grooming, the shaping, the transforming, and the molding. You better be good. You better do good works. And the Bible speaks against having to do works to earn our salvation or to get into heaven. It's like this whole paradigm. Uh, so I said, I think it's a very fun story. It true? Well, does the Bible talk about Santa? Okay, well, the Bible is true, so therefore, if it's not in there, it's not truth. There are lots of things that are outside of there, and they're outside of there because they're outside of the realm of real truth. So that's what I think. And she says, Mom, be honest with me. I said, I think it's a fun story. I think Santa, the person who dresses up in the costume, is real, but it's simply dressing up in a costume. And it's trying to get you to believe something that isn't true, to buy into something. What is the truth, and that is what Scripture says. And Santa's not in Scripture, so there you go. But still have fun, still play along with it, still do Christmas things, get presents, but understand the truth of where they come from and why they come. Well, I get you things, because it's fun, right? Because I love you, not because of you were good enough this year. And that's why a lot of people come to me, is because they have that internal subconscious belief. I'm not good enough. I have to do these things. I have to earn these things. And those are programs and stories that come through us, through our childhood, through our upbringing, that impact us deeply as an adult. We think that we have to do certain things. We have to earn certain things, that someone's watching us, that we have to be quote unquote good enough. And if we're not good enough, we're going to go out there and try to prove it, or try to create it, or try to make it happen. And really, what we all need is to know the truth of Jesus and how much he loves us. And this was presented in this story with the Elf on the Shelf. So she gets it. She's super excited about it. We name it. There were a couple days of doing the little Elf on the Shelf things. And last night, we thought she was asleep. My husband walked in to grab the little snowflake, is what she named him, to grab the little elf and do a little thing. And this morning I hear her getting ready in the bedroom, or in her bathroom, and she's just bawling her eyes out, like so sad, like real tears, real sad, like a sadness. So I walk in and I know exactly what she's crying about. I ask her, what's wrong, honey? And she's like, you lied to me. You lied to me. I thought Snowflake was real. And so she gets upset, walks out of the bathroom, throws Snowflake down the stairs, and comes back in and is just bawling while she's brushing her hair. And all I could do was just sit there and hold her and say, I'm so sorry. I I understand how bad it hurts to feel like you were lied to, and you were. We lied to you. We didn't tell you the truth. We let you believe lies. We let you believe that Snowflake was alive, was a real, like came alive at night, like the story says and like the book says. And she's doing all these things. So I said, but honey, it's connected to the story of Santa, that she's an elf that comes into your home and watches you and reports back to Santa. That's not true. That's not real. Santa is not. It's not in the Bible. I understand this hurts. And she was hurt because we lied to her. And it was a beautiful story of redemption, which reminded me exactly of who God is and the opportunities he gives us with to get to know him and to be with the truth, to sit with the truth, to live with the truth inside of us, to allow it to reside within us. And so we talked about it and how hurt she was because she said, "It's all made up. You guys lied to me. I thought Snowflake was real." And I said, "Honey, I take ownership for that. I apologize for that. We did let you believe that. We did that because we loved you. We did it because we just wanted to have some fun. And it was kind of fun to wake up and see what Snowflake had done in the morning." And she said, "But I thought it was her that did it. And now I know that it was you guys that did it." And I was just so grateful in that moment because we got the opportunity to have a conversation about truth and about the difference between what is truth and what isn't. And to have her understand you can still have fun, but it's even better to know the truth and have fun than to not know the truth and be deceived by the things that are fun and believe that those are truth. I love, love, love that we got the opportunity to have this conversation. And I said, I can't help but think and believe that it was God that kept you awake last night so that you could see your stepdad come into the room and grab Snowflake and then wake up to see what Snowflake had done and have this conversation about the truth and what the truth is. And know that the truth is Jesus. But Jesus lets us have fun with things like this. Like we get to do these things, but he loves you so much. He wants you to know the truth. And he didn't let you go on any longer than you did believing things that were not true because he knows your heart and he loves you so, so, so much. He cares about your heart and he wants your heart to be filled with truth. And so he allowed you to experience lies and deception so we could have a conversation that was based in truth and in love. We did it because we love you and we wanted to have fun with you. And of course, for a few moments, she was upset because we lied to her. We all experience that. We're frustrated, we're upset when we understand that we've been lied to, we've been manipulated, we've been led to believe something that isn't true. And in the area of expertise of working with people who come through narcissistic relationships, it literally is the same thing. It's the pain of believing lies, and those lies that we believed have penetrated our subconscious mind to become our identity. And so when that is our identity is not Christ because Christ is truth. And so it's the combination and the merging of these things and the stories of what we believe. And this was a beautiful indication of this and how impactful it is and where it begins. It begins in childhood. I was reading a little bit of this book this morning, The Three Heavens, by John Hagee, and I was reading the chapter of the invasion of demons in society, and it was talking about these things, how these things are not examples of harmless entertainment. It goes into some pretty kind of scary things. But the forces of evil are rampage in our society and have taken captive the minds, hearts, and souls of many in this generation who are addicted to the ever evolving enticements of supernatural and the demonic. We must recognize that Satan craves control over the world. He hates that God controls the world. He hates that God is above all. He hates that God is love, and he is the opposite of love. That is the very thing he wants to take from us. And love is truth, and God is love. And it says the battle rages for the minds of our future generations. There will be a winner and a loser in this war. Satan hates God and the image of God in us. And I know that my daughter, he says he despises Jesus Christ and the redemption he has afforded us. And this was a beautiful experience of a redemption story where I got to have this conversation with my daughter, where we know, we trust, we love, and we believe in Jesus because that is the truth. And Christmas is about him. And there are things that are outside of that, like Christmas and Elf on the Shelf, that are fun things that parents do for their kids because they love them and they just want to have fun with them. But true love is knowing the love of Jesus. And then, of course, you can do fun things outside of that. But when the belief becomes in the thing that's outside of that, that is where pain sets in. That's where lies, that's where manipulation, that's where deception sets in. And most of us spend our adult life trying to untangle the lies and decipher what's real, what isn't. I thought this was real. I believed in this. You see, it's the foundation of a belief system. I believed in this. I thought it was true. And then when I found out that it wasn't true, I was hurt, just like she was hurt when she threw a little snowflake down the stairs and just bawled her eyes out brushing her hair, because she realized that what she believed in were lies, and the ones that she loved played a part in that. The people that we look up to initially, our parents. A lot of us don't have parents who have a relationship with Jesus, or they do, but they allow their children to believe in lies. And so that is what penetrates our mind. It impacts our subconscious belief system. And so we had a conversation about this. And, in her pain, she said, well, I'm going to go tell everyone at school that Elf on the Shelf isn't real because I don't want them to hurt the way that I was hurt. And I said, I pray that you pray about that first, because like you were hurt, do you want to be a part of someone else's hurt? And I just pray that God gives you the wisdom to know what he would like you to do, because their parents have played a part in this too, just like I did. So I apologize. We did it because of this. We wanted to have fun. It was fun, but I understand how when you come to know that you believed lies, that's not fun. That hurts. Right. And I talk about this all the time in all my content. We real lies, we rational lies. So we begin to believe real lies, and we put our faith and our hope and our trust and our belief in them. We get excited about them, and we're falling into the trap of manipulation, confusion, and wonderment. Well, then how can I know if this is real? And I know that I don't need to convince my daughter that God is real, that he is in her because she was created in his image, that it is my job as her loving parent to continue to speak truth and speak life into her and let him do the rest, because I can't play the role or the job of God. I've tried to many times in my life when I'm trying to get someone to see or be a certain thing. That's being manipulative and controlling. I need to return to truth. I need to return to Jesus. And that's what I just simply teach her to do. And so we had an incredible conversation where she knows the truth and she's been set free. And it was in the matter of, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, but it was because she already had seeds of truth planted in her that we were able to have a conversation that I could sit there, I could hug her, I could love her, I could hold her, I could admit my part in this, and I could apologize sincerely for it. And let her know my perspective, my husband's perspective, all we were trying to do. And realize that the most important thing is to speak truth, is to speak life, and not let our children grow up believing in lies. And like, oh, we don't want to hurt them, and oh, it's fun to do this. It is fun to do this, but it's not fun when our children are hurt and let down and believe in this and are deceived by this. And that is the beautiful relationship with Jesus, and seeing the way that the enemy is working in all of us. He doesn't stop working when we're adults, and he begins working when we're children. And of course, it's never too late, because I grew up believing in Santa. I'm okay, right? We've gone through so many things, but it's important to allow our children to experience truth in the beginning, and to let them know, and teach them and preach to them the truth, the gospel, the word of Jesus. This is an incredible book if you're looking for understanding the spiritual realm even more. It's called The Three Heavens. It's quite fascinating. I did not know there were three heavens before I began reading this book. But it's incredible, because there's so much truth in this. Satan is totally determined to do everything within his power to destroy God's creation. And God's creation, well, his most loved, he created everything, but his most loved creation is you, is me, is us, are humans. He said we're very good. Everything else is good, but we are very, very good. So when we understand this truth, we can speak to truth, and we have the fruits of the spirit planted within us, and we can share those with others. And it was such a beautiful experience to get to share those with my daughter, ask for her forgiveness, apologize for my part in it, take responsibility for it, and not make excuses, but explain to her that it was because of my love for her. And the beautiful thing is, because of Jesus's love for us, because of God's love for us, he did what he did when he sent his son to die for us. But he is not like us. He's not human. He would never lie. He would never deceive us. He would never allow us to believe something that was fun, that was worldly. He was not afraid to present to things. He was a peacemaker, but he wasn't a doormat. So he was never afraid and never held back. So he wouldn't have spoken that. I doubt that Jesus would have bought into Elf on the Shelf, right? But he was in the world, but not of it. And I think that is the spiritual battles, to be in the world, but not of it, and to share, connect with, and communicate with those that we love when it comes to this. So, oh my gosh, it was a beautiful experience this morning, one that I was grateful that we had, because it gave us the opportunity to come together to have a conversation and connection around truth and understand each other and love and support each other through the things that we were experiencing, and to really see how easy it is to fall into the enemy's trap and give in to that and not be so stifling, stickling. We can't celebrate Christmas. Well, we do, but we celebrate the truth of Christmas, and all the other stuff that's outside of that. It can be fun. It can be fun to play little games with the Elf on the Shelf. It can be fun to, wake up and get Christmas presents under the tree, but it's not about that. What it is about is the freedom that we have through our relationship with Jesus and the relationship that we have with each other. That's the first commandment, right? Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Well, I don't really call my daughter my neighbor, but what it's really saying is love others as yourself. And we get beautiful opportunities to experience that each and every day, to demonstrate it, to display it, and to continue to return to Jesus and ask for his guidance and his wisdom through all of our conversations and with all of our connections. So I wanted to share this beautiful conversation and connection and opportunity that I got to have with my daughter today, using a very worldly thing, a thing that we were doing because we love her and because we wanted to have fun with her, and allow her to know that that is really what it was all about. But the truth of what it's all about is how God uses us as an opportunity for us to connect to, get to know him, understand him, and what he stands for. So I wanted to share this with you, and just have you know that whatever you've gone through, it does come down to that. It becomes an identity thing. What do I believe that what do I believe is true about me? And return to the truth of what God says is true about you, that you are fully loved, you are infinitely loved, you are forever loved, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've believed in or what's been done to you. And it really does come down to that. It's belief, it's faith. Faith is action. Faith was the action of having an uncomfortable conversation and not continuing to lie to her, to continue to take the opportunity to admit and own my part, apologize for my part, and then just return to truth and know that that is what heals, that is what sets her free, and continue to allow us to both live in the freedom that he has provided for us because of his son and what he's done for us. So I love you guys. I wanted to share this with you. If you are ready to just go into this more and deeper conversation and contemplation, we do this inside of my monthly membership. It is called In. So I will leave a link to that below in the description below this video. You can jump in and join that and be with us anytime. So that's it. That's all for today. Love you guys. Bye for now.